on that note, I'll say two things. Actually, I'll say one thing, which is two parts. Um, this is definitely an unprecedented time, and so I'm looking out for leaders. I'm looking out for emerging leaders, established leaders, and I'm looking at how they're acting. Are they hoarding onto power, as I've said before, or are they making way through deregulation, through getting rid of crony restrictive laws, or at least suspending them, making room for innovation, making room for entrepreneurs to come forward and innovate and come up with um, solutions that we need right now for these various, it's a very dynamic situation, we have many problems. So are you making room for that, or are you holding on to power, consolidating everything and saying, no, I know best? So when I look at that, I think a good leader should have a two-pronged approach. Part one is to look at the crisis at hand and deal with that. But the second one is a more long-term approach where you're thinking about, okay, why are we failing? Why did this happen? Well, we entered this, crisis because of where we had ABC handicaps. So the long-term strategy is, how do we address that? How do we change that? And the con solutions, even if, let's say, people don't suspend it right now, getting rid of con laws is a part of the long-term solution that we absolutely need to address, and we need to be thinking about even as the crisis keeps unfolding and the surge keeps increasing. So that's what I will say to point number one. And this ties into the second one, which is about Vermont's plastic bag ban. So as you know, our legislature passed a law saying that grocery stores will be banned from providing plastic bags to customers effective July 1st. And this means that customers will have to bring reusable bags, and the whole point of this was climate change. Plastic bags are banned. Now, I'm not going to argue and get into all that, but I will just say that the entire world has changed. Everything has changed, and we all know that. So right now, what we're trying to do, everyone is focused on what's known as flattening the curve, right? So as I said, instead of having everyone fall ill at the same time, we're trying to flatten it out so that, sure, people will get infected, but people don't have to fall ill all at once and then lead to overburdening of our hospitals, and then, God forbid, rationing of beds and ventilators. So we are trying to slow the contagion. We want to slow the spread of the virus. And we want to protect the health of Vermonters and Americans broadly, but in terms of Vermont, we want to help people, especially people who are on the front line. And this is not just in hospitals, but this is in all our essential businesses where, for example, grocery stores, where people are still going and working and bagging groceries and helping, the rest of us buy food and stay alive. So when you have a reusable bag, that is a reservoir that becomes an absolute reservoir of infectious germs and diseases. And we do know that COVID-19 spreads by contact. So tell me, why would we not suspend or just end this bag ban? Why wouldn't we do it? I mean, I would think that's the very first thing that you do. You look at the laws that you have in front of you and say, okay, everything needs to be prioritized to protect public safety first, right? Public health, and how do we slow the contagion? Well, one great, wonderful way to slow the contagion and protect our workers is to suspend, pull back, repeal, do whatever you want, but get rid of this ban that goes into effect July 1st. Why aren't we ever doing that? And you know what? In New Hampshire, Governor Chris Sununu, he used his executive authority as governor of the state to say no. Now on, New Hampshire grocery stores have to provide plastic bags, and we're not going to go ahead and do this whole reusable thing. Okay, so nobody wants to, as I said, it's politics as usual. So no one wants to pay attention to a Republican governor. Fine, don't. Here's a list of states and cities that are run by Democrats that have all pulled back on the ban. New York State, Massachusetts, Maine, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and San Francisco in California. San Francisco had in place a 13-year ban on plastic bags, and they have reversed it. Not only that, they have now prohibited reusable bags. So if all these places can do it, why can't Vermont prioritize public safety and public health? I am going to keep beating the bush on this every single day. I'm going to keep retweeting it because I think it's very, very important. Yes, it's that important, and we really need to stop it. I mean, why not? So I spoke with a reporter off the record today to just find out what's happening, because Governor Phil Scott said, I don't know why the executive authority in Vermont is different from executive authority in New Hampshire. I thought that generally speaking, governors have the same authority, but I don't know. I have never been in office, so perhaps I'm missing something. But he said that it's not up to him to do anything. He doesn't have the power to do anything about the ban. It's up to the legislature. Okay, so Tim Ash is the Senate president, and Mitzi Johnson is the Speaker of the House, and both of them have put out their COVID-19 priorities. And so I was talking to this reporter off the record, and he said that they have been approached. You know, this is a topic that is on our minds, and we have asked them, and you know what they said? It's not a priority. It's not a priority, and doesn't look like it's going to be a priority in coming weeks, which I find very, very